Hello, Chile.
Hello, Ian. How are you?
All right, thank you.
Good. We have a sunset behind us today.
Yes, chilled. Yes,
Yeah,
nice little sunset, bit of blue sky there, bit of sun just going down over the sea. Yeah, a bit of everything
yeah.
really.
I guess this won't mean an awful lot to the listeners unless you're
No,
watching
no,
watching
people.
this on YouTube.
Yes, yes. If you're watching us, you've got the whole thing. If not, think what are they going on about?
Yeah, well, what we're going on about is that we've chosen a background that has I think one of those that bridge in Los Angeles with a sunny
Yeah,
background,
suspension
sunset,
bridge sort of
whatever.
thing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
sunset at the background. So why not? Why not?
looks good.
So good. So happy
Yes. Oh
birthday, Ian,
gosh,
by the way. You
I
had your
know.
birthday a couple of days ago.
Yes, it was. Yes, this week. Yes, the time of recording, just 2 days ago. Yeah, that's it. Big birthday. Lovely day. Nice big
Yeah.
breakfast in the morning, actually, at a posh place. A friend treated me to. Very generous friend.
Wow.
So myself and Anna were included, my wife, and yeah, we went for this lovely big breakfast.
Excellent.
And then actually three gifts to open. She said, open the card last.
Oh,
Thinking, what's the special? The card's the least of the things, isn't it, when you buy
yeah.
people presents? So I got three lovely wrapped presents here. Anyway, I
Mm.
open them. One was a nice photograph of myself. In fact, I've changed my Facebook photo recently,
Mm.
and the person I'm talking about, the friend, was one that we were on holiday with in Italy, and
Yeah.
a picture was taken of me on that holiday, and she's framed it and put "Happy Birthday" to our dear friend Ian
Ah.
from all their names and listed their
Oh,
name, and it's
lovely.
all engraved in a wooden frame. It's really, really nice.
Wow.
And yeah, so I've actually changed my Facebook image to that image as well, and because I thought it was nice. But that was, and then and then like an apron and a cookery book.
Wow. Okay.
She's
Are
trying
you
to
into
encourage me
cookery?
to do more stuff in the kitchen. I think I'm not big in the kitchen, so it's a bit of a kick, I think. To She's obviously been talking to my wife and coming up with some. But anyway, and then what was it? Then open the card.
Hmm. Oh, what's in the card?
Okay, what's it? Piece of paper with a voucher
Okay.
for none other than a helicopter ride.
Oh, nice.
It couldn't have done
Excellent.
any better than that. I mean, a glider, microlight, any type of flight. I've done a
Okay.
balloon flight.
Yeah.
Did that 10 years ago, actually, for my 10 years ago big birthday.
Yeah.
So yeah, this one's got a zero on the end. So similar
Okay.
thing, really. So I'm a bit like 10 years ago. I'm doing a flight of some sort. We did a
Nice.
balloon flight 10 years ago. And
Mm.
also within that year, I went to South Africa to see our family. We're doing that again this year. So that fits nicely with the
Oh, wow.
big birthday as well. So
Mm.
yeah, so really, really good. Absolutely, generous, and lots of Facebook, messages and wishes from people that I've not seen face to face, from all walks of life. Some from the village where I grew up, some from work, some from
Mm.
university, some from later in work, and yeah, everything.
Mm.
Well, I must have had some sort of influence and impact on them then, if they,
Well, it must be, but I think I think I was one of them. Obviously, we speak every week, but
yeah, of course. Yeah,
it
well,
was
that's right. You're from current life, as it were,
yeah,
but there were
it
people from historic life I haven't seen for
yeah.
years.
It's the fact that I think the picture was radiating such happiness and such
Thank
you
you.
had such a glow about you in that picture that I've never even seen before, which was,
Oh, wow,
surprising
good.
given that I speak to you every week
I'm
for the
not sure
last
if that's
three
good or
years.
bad,
No,
actually.
that's a good thing. It was just nice. Nice that you just seem really relaxed and like let go of any worry or
Yeah,
anything. So
just
that was
being
nice.
yourself. Yeah,
Mm,
that's it. Yeah, we
mm.
can't keep letting stuff tie us down and stop us from being the people that we really are. There you
Yes.
go. There's a good one to throw
There's
in
a
for
good one
today.
to throw in for today, but obviously today we're not here to talk about your birthday as much as we
All
love
right
you
then. All
and
right. Enough.
everything.
Enough of the birthday.
Yes. Today, in fact, our second episode where we talk about where we answer a listener's question, and
Yes.
this specific listener asked about a very, very good question that will resonate with most of you, especially you're a woman who is had a baby or is having a baby or has had a baby, whatever.
All right. That's me
Um,
out then. Okay.
that's
Fair
you
enough.
out. But it also could apply to some dads these days. does take parental leave as well. So it could
I have
apply
got a
to
bit of a
any.
I have got a bit of a connection with this idea of maternity, so I'll
Okay.
save that till later.
Okay, maybe good. So the specific question was, how do I go back? I'm really worried about going back to a high pressure job, uh, having just had two kids and with two little kids to still look after. So that was a specific question. And how do I
Okay.
deal with that? You know?
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, very real, very
oh yeah, very real.
you know, it's a very in your face situation, and
It
yeah,
is.
yeah, indeed, it's not, it's harder than you think, and well, yeah, let's explore it.
Yeah, let's explore it. Well, I'm very well qualified to talk about this, given that I had two kids myself not long
Right, good
ago.
job one of us is then. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Not long ago, and I've had this exact experience of this panic and anxiety, thinking about the job that I was going to go back to. And to be fair, the job wasn't necessarily even high pressured as such, but it was still a full-time job. I was going back full-time on both occasions, and even the thought of having to leave my baby with somebody
Mm,
else and go back to a day job all day long, being away from them for 8 hours a day, just just frightened me, and just couldn't even bear to think about that at the time. And these thoughts started to rush in when we are like in 5, 6, 7, 8, 7 months into the 12-month maternity leave that I specifically took. So if you're, for example, if you took 6 months off, the latter part of that time, you probably will start to feel these, because the first few months it's all great. You can't think about anything but the baby, and you're too tired to think about anything, let alone going back to work. But when things start to settle down and you're into the groove of your new routine, then you start to think about, oh my God, what's going to happen when I go back to work? This fear and this anxiety comes over you. And I started to feel that again 7 months into my first and second maternity leave. And another thing was that with my first baby, he came 3 months earlier than he should have done. So,
right.
and you take, when I say he should have done, when he's supposed to have come, but of course he's only supposed to come when he's supposed to come, but less than
Yes. Yeah.
less
I
than
know what you
9 months
mean.
that you're allowed, as it were,
Sure.
as
Yes.
the
Yeah.
gestation of a human baby. He
Yep.
came at after 7 months, so
Right.
it was. So I had even less time with him
Yes.
than I could have had with my with any normal born baby, if you like.
Sure.
So I was in this exact despair of, oh my God, what's going to happen? What am I going to do? How will I cope with this? And just again, the thought of leaving your baby with somebody else, who's going to look after them? Are they going to be okay? Whatever. It's just daunting.
Mm.
Um, so the only thing I can say, there are a few things I can say. In fact, the first thing I'm going to say is that, as we talked about it many times before, there is only now.
Yep. Okay. That's a good. Yeah. That's a good
Good start.
start.
Because none of us is guaranteed a tomorrow, let alone 6, 7 months from now. So
Mhm.
we can worry about what's going to happen 3, 4, 5 months from now, or we can just stop doing that and focus on the now, which is what we have. The now is what we have with our baby, with the people that we love, people that, that care about us, that we care for. Focus on that. Focus on being grateful for being able to have that right now, because that
Mm.
kind of stops any other worrying, because your mind can only
Mm.
focus on one thing at a time,
Mm. Yeah.
as
And as
much as
we've
we,
said,
yeah.
Chilla, just to chip in here, you know,
Mm,
as we have said many times, when we try and think about the future and we try and imagine this future,
mm,
quite often we can be wrong, can't we? It might
yeah.
not turn out. You know, particularly pertinent to when we're looking into the future and seeing fear and disaster and badness
Mm,
and oh no, you know, or
yeah.
brick walls even, you know,
Mm,
it doesn't, there's no guarantee it's going to turn out as bad as we think think it is sitting here in the now. Is that a fair comment?
That's correct. But not only that, in fact, the more catastrophically you think about it, the more you are making it become that way. As we said, what we focus on grows within us. There is no guarantee. And some of these thoughts that come into our heads, like you said, is unreal. But they are real as they are, but they are not true. They're not true. And some of it may or may not even happen.
Yeah.
And some of it likely will not happen. But it's just because from where we are right now, all we fear is leaving the baby with someone else and not being able to then of course that moment when you're thinking looking after a small baby and a toddler, you're tired, you have no time for yourself. All you're really thinking about is, how am I going to cope with a job on top of this and still be present with my kids?
Yeah.
And so that was the first thing. Focus on the now and be just present with this present time, because that is all you have. Yeah.
Sounds good to me.
Sounds good. Yeah. The second thing is one exercise that I did for myself. Literally had a notebook or a piece of paper. On one column, I've written down bit by bit, what is it specifically I'm worried about? I'm worried about the fact that I can't get up early, or I'm worried about the fact that I won't have had enough sleep to be able to cope with the mental, requirements of a job, or whatever it is that you are specifically worried about. Before you move on to the next one, on the second column opposite, write down how can you cope with that. What is it that you can do to cope with that? For example, if it's about sleep, I can go to bed an hour earlier. I can have a nap when I come back from work. Just making this up, but some strategies to cope with that specific situation.
And this is before you move on to the next thought. So you've just written one thing down that you're concerned, and now you're straight away into, how am I going to cope with that?
How am I going to cope with that? And what we're trying to do here is to get ourselves out of the catastrophic thinking, because this catastrophic thinking is coming from the fear. Our brain is thinking there's danger and we can't cope with the danger. You're going to bring the thoughts into your thinking brain, not your reptilian brain, and just really know how you can deal with that specific situation. And the chances are 4 or 5 months from now, your baby is going to sleep better. You may not need to feed at night. You can enroll your husband to help you, or whatever it might be. There are so many other strategies, but I would encourage you to write down at least one thing, how you can cope with that specific situation that's worrying you.
Great.
I mean, I was worried about stupid things like, how is my boss going to deal with the fact that I'm now going to be tired. Well, it's not your responsibility to deal with your boss's feelings. What your responsibility is to clearly set your boundaries with the new kind of routine that you have. When you go to your job, you say to them, well, here it is. Here's my working hours. Here's my boundaries. I cannot work outside of these hours, and they don't pay you to do it anyway. And don't work outside of those hours. It's your boundary. You get to set it and you get to stick to it. And if you don't stick to it, then it isn't your boss's fault, because you're teaching them how they treat you. So decide what those boundaries are going to be. Decide what sort of working hours that you are able to cope with from where you are. Then you can deal with it and you can set your boundaries. Then you can say no to anything else that comes in your way.
Great. That's good. Yeah. Otherwise, it's important to do that. Otherwise, I know where this is going. You just feel that you're going to have to say yes to everything, and then the boundaries become useless, and then you're not succeeding in, all the fears that you've got probably coming. Yeah, the whole thing just collapses and falls down. So I do think that's important. I get that. Yeah.
And the third thing is that from where we are, if you like, with a baby in our hand, or going back to the job that we used to do without a baby, without any responsibility, without anything else, we think we're going to be able to do the exact same thing. but the
Of
chances are
course.
you're
Yeah.
not. You're not
Yeah.
because you are now a different person.
Yeah.
You have different way of looking at life. You have
Yes.
responsibilities for other people, i.e. the small people that you're looking after.
Yes.
And you have responsibilities for yourself, which is to look after, take care of yourself. And this time,
Mm.
taking care of yourself is even more important than it's ever been, because if you don't take care of yourself, then there's no one to take care of the kids
Yeah. Yeah. So you've
anymore.
got a double reason now for
Yeah.
looking after
To,
yourself a bit more,
yes.
sticking to the boundaries and
Mm.
accepting that things are a bit different now, and that's okay, isn't it?
Yeah. And so that's another strategy. This was the second strategy. And the third
Yes.
one I'm
Yeah.
going to give is so important. Again, we said many times before, it's the identity that we hold
Yes.
that determines everything that we get back in life. So the identity up to now has been the high achiever, I work hard, I achieve great things, and people expect so much of me, and therefore you expect so much of yourself. But now
Yes.
you've become a mom, you have different responsibilities, and dare I say it, your identity is now become a mom, but this is what you need to realize, that you are not just a mom. You're not just a high achiever. You are a combination of all of that. And if you
Mm.
stop judging yourself as a mom or as a high achiever, as a hardworking person, and just accept who you are and where you are at right now in life, then everything will become easier. Right now, from just based on the question that you're asking, I'm talking to the listener,
Yep.
is that you're giving your power away to the job and to the things external to you, which could be your boss, your job, or whatever. But your power is within you to say no to anything that you don't want, anything that doesn't work for you and your family
Mm.
anymore. And so you get to decide only when you're at that stage, only when you finish your maternity leave, you get to decide whether this works for me or not anymore.
Right. That's interesting then.
Mm.
So you've just said it plainly.
Yeah.
You get to decide when that actually happens, not 2 months before, when you're sitting thinking, I've only
Yeah.
got another 2 months to go before I'm
Yeah.
back at work, for
Exactly. I
example.
mean, you can think about it now
Of
to say,
course.
well, you can think about what is it that you're going to be able to tolerate and what is it that you're able to cope with or whatever. But it shouldn't be that you have to go over and above to cope with that.
Yeah.
There's going to be
Yeah.
time, your body and your body clock and everything will adjust to the new situation. And if you're
Yes.
happy and if you're fine with adjusting to that, it's only then that you really get to make a rational decision, not out of fear. The
Mm.
fear makes us do things that we wouldn't normally do, and it also stops us doing things that we would easily be able to do because we think that this is going to cause us such big catastrophe, whatever. So
Mm.
don't make your any decisions from that point, from this point of fear, but make
Mhm.
it when you come to that moment, is this working for me? But what you got to do is to decide what your boundaries are right now.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's the point, isn't it? It's not,
Hmm.
we don't think about it. You think about it, but you don't think about it with fear. You think about it with strategy, with
Hmm.
boundaries and reality. What can I do? And also the acceptance of, I'm not a failure because I'm
Yeah.
not going to be able to do 16 hours a day anymore. When I
Hmm.
was high flying and high working and
Hmm.
that was my identity. Because like you say, your identity actually is all aspects of your life. And it's
Yes.
really sad when people actually limit themselves to just
Hmm.
what they do. And then if things do not turn out as absolutely expected, then it's as though the whole body, the whole person is a failure, the
Yeah.
whole entity is a failure. And that's just so unreal,
Yeah.
unhelpful, and just
Yes.
just not true. You're not a failure. This is a major life change, isn't it? I mean, we're talking about
It
maternity, we're talking about
is.
babies today. This is a fundamental big
Hmm.
life change. It's not sort of just getting a new hobby or
Hmm.
starting to play football for the first day. It's a
Yeah.
big
It's a
big thing.
major
One of
life
the, one of the
change.
big things, one major life. Yeah.
Hmm. It is a major life change, and I can feel and I know there is a bit of judgment of yourself, from yourself, to say, I'm not going to be able to do what I was able to do before. And what will they think of me? What will others think of me? And you're already judging yourself that if you can't do what you were able to do before, this will mean something about you. It means nothing about you.
Nothing
Like
at all.
Ian said very rightly, we don't judge ourselves based on what we do. So if you
Definitely not.
have been an engineer, designer, or a, IT manager or a food scientist, whatever it might be, you're limiting your whole being into that one title. And this will inevitably mean that you're going to compare yourself to others. And if there's always going to be somebody who's better than you at doing that. And therefore, you're always going to be in some sort of behind discrepancy, or this whole deprived state of being, and you're going to judge yourself and you're going to continue to beat yourself up. So there's no point in doing that. When you remember, and you could also do the other side. I'm now a mom. What if I don't I can't be present with my kids? What if when I give my kids away to daycare, what will they think of me? I'm not a good mom, whatever. All of these
Yeah.
thoughts keep going through your head. And it was one of the thoughts that was going through my head.
Right. Fair enough.
And
Yeah.
but then how I overcame that was that, well, actually, you know what? By being able to provide for my kids, I'm setting them a good example. I'm also taking care of myself because I still need to, work the intelligent side of my brain by doing something good for the society and for
Yeah.
myself.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
being able to take that break means that I can be more present with my kids.
Yeah.
Not to the extent that you're going to work yourself to the ground so you have no energy to give to either, but to the extent that you can be both and still good at it. And not being able to fulfill one or the other means nothing about you. It just means you're human, but you can also adapt to any situations.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's all, it's all okay to feel this way. It's just that we
Yeah.
all want fulfillment in life. We all want to feel secure and good about ourselves.
Mm.
So, don't give that. I mean, you just talk about don't give your power away, don't give all
Mm.
that situation over to life situations. It's
Yeah.
you, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's about your life, and you're entitled to peace and fulfillment and all the things, your work and your children.
Mm.
That no one aspect of it is causing you to be a failure.
Yeah. And when I say don't give your power away, what I really mean is specifically is that you get to choose
Right.
at
Good.
what
Yeah.
point, whatever point in your life, to do whatever you choose to do. You might say, I have to go to work. Well, you don't have to. Nobody's making you. Yes, you have to earn money, whatever. We talked about
Sure.
this last
Yeah.
week.
Yeah.
But there are
Absolutely.
many
Yeah.
other ways you can bring value to the world and therefore get the rewards as a result. You are choosing to go to work. You have done until now. And now, from now on, if you don't choose to go to work, that's also okay. Whatever you choose to do, you have the power to make that choice. Nobody else is going to make you. Nobody else has any other power over you. Yeah,
Mm,
that's the
yeah.
thing that
Well,
we are trying to
that
put
is
across.
that's the
Mm.
truth and that's reality.
Yeah.
And it's easy to not believe that or to believe something inferior to that. But yeah, we
Mm.
really, you've reminded us, Joe. We just got to keep that positivity in our minds, isn't it? Keep filling our minds with good stuff, I
Yeah,
suppose.
that's true. And remember our power and practice it with these things because in the past, it may be that we haven't practiced our power so much. I know from myself, I haven't practiced it because I didn't realize I had so much of it as
Yeah.
such. But now,
Yeah.
and even on a daily basis, I get reminders
Yeah.
from different situations that I need to practice that choice and
Mm,
power.
yeah.
And this has to become a new habit for all of us to
Hmm.
practice that power in different situations. And
Mm,
the only reassurance I can give to this person, to anybody who's listening and resonating with that right now, everything will be fine. Everything has always been, is now, and will always be fine. As my coach says,
mm,
this is the one thing that we can surrender to. Everything has
mm,
always been fine and will always
yeah.
be fine.
I think that's really good. And I think, that is so important and
Mm.
so sadly missed by so many people. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you think we've answered? I mean, it's great. We're getting listeners' questions. Let's get more, more listeners, because your question's going to help. This question this lady asked is going to help other people as well. That's for sure. So, maybe you've got a question you want us to field. And get Chulai's wisdom and expertise and experience on this to help you and to get you in the right place for moving forward and being the best you that you can be. Do you like that? The best you that you can be.
I know.
It reminds me of somebody else.
Yes, but that hopefully that answers this question. And yes, like Ian said, do come along, ask any questions you have. On the podcast, in the show notes, you have ways to contact me. You can connect with me on LinkedIn, go to my website and find out more about how you can ask these questions. Plus, I forgot to mention that I'm doing some series of mini master classes. Last year, I was doing the weekly mindset nuggets with Dr. Tulay Masi. That was every Thursday. I was putting a blog post out there. This year, now this quarter, I'm doing weekly master classes. Okay. These are 20 to 30 minutes answering the very topic like this that I know that most of you will resonate with, most of you suffer from. And on this week's one, just past Tuesday, we've covered about the real reason why you don't have time, the number one reason why you don't have time. And if you still want to listen to that, you can register. I'm going to put the Zoom link to register in the show notes. So people can come and register for those, but they're going to be insightful. They're going to be very exciting, and there's so much interest already. So
Great. Thanks, Chulai, for that. That's, again, more helpful stuff. And I've got to play the role now that I normally play every week at this time in the podcast. And so I'm afraid we're out of time for another episode.
Yes. It was been a great one. Thank you.
Okay. Thanks, Chulai. We'll talk next time.
Bye.